On that gloomy morning, news of the horrific murder case spread, causing a shockwave throughout the neighborhood. According to reports, a mother and her 2 young children were found dead at a garbage dump near the Keihin Canal area. As the police began their investigation, dark secrets about the victim's family started to emerge. The woman, in order to support her family and pay off debts, had to work at an entertainment bar. But what was even more enraging was the husband, a seemingly respectable doctor, who not only relied on her income but also shamelessly spent that money to support his 10 mistresses. Could it be that the husband could no longer bear the pressure of family life and decided to eliminate his wife to live with his mistress, or was there some other factor leading to this tragedy? Join us as we delve into the details to uncover the truth behind this heartbreaking story. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss any other fascinating videos. It all began on a peaceful morning when a group of local residents were dumping trash near the Keihin Canal area in Tsurumi Ward, Yokohama City, Japan. While cleaning, they unexpectedly discovered a large plastic bag left near the canal bank. At first, the group thought it was just ordinary garbage, but when they opened the bag, they were horrified to find the bodies of a woman and 2 children inside. The incident was immediately reported to the police, causing the previously quiet area to be filled with tension and anxiety. The police quickly arrived at the scene and began implementing necessary investigation steps. After further investigation, the identities of the victims were confirmed to be Nomoto Aiko, who lived in Ibaraki Prefecture, along with her 2 young children, a 2-year-old girl and a 1-year-old boy. According to police information, a few days before the bodies were discovered, they had received a phone call from Aiko's husband, Iwao Nomoto. In the call, Iwao expressed his concern about his wife and 2 children suddenly disappearing without leaving any clues. He mentioned that the last time he saw his family was when they were preparing to leave home to visit relatives. However, after that, the husband was unable to contact his wife, which made him extremely anxious. During the investigation, Iwao Nomoto became the main person of interest as the one most closely connected to the victims. The police wanted to determine whether there had been any recent conflicts between the couple, or if Aiko had shown any unusual behavior before her disappearance. But Iwao insisted that family life had been normal, with no signs of concern. He also stated that Aiko had not shown any signs of instability or done anything unusual recently. However, during the interrogation, investigators noticed strange scratch marks on Iwao's hands. What was notable was that these scratches closely resembled the wounds found on the victim's neck during the autopsy. When asked about the origin of these injuries, Iwao explained that they were caused by the family dog. However, this explanation did not convince the police. As a result, he changed his statement, claiming the scratches were the result of an argument with his wife. Iwao's inconsistent testimony further raised the police's suspicions, prompting them to expand their investigation into his relationship with Aiko. Upon further investigation, the police uncovered many intriguing details about Iwao Nomoto's personal life. Before getting married, Iwao had a rather complicated romantic life. According to several acquaintances, he had many unclear relationships, and it seemed that this habit did not change even after he married Aiko. Close friends of Aiko revealed that she frequently complained about her husband's infidelity, and arguments about this issue became more frequent. Not only that, but the family's financial situation was also a significant cause of tension in their marriage. After a failed investment, Iwao Nomoto lost a large sum of money, which pushed the family into financial hardship. This not only strained the relationship between the couple, but also forced Aiko to take on more financial responsibility, despite her unstable job. The financial difficulties and personal issues contributed to the escalating tension and conflict in their marriage. With the gathered information, from clear motives to suspicious signs, Iwao Nomoto gradually became the main suspect in the case. In order to charge him, the police needed more concrete evidence. After nearly a month of investigation, the police collected enough evidence to formally charge Iwao Nomoto. He was arrested on charges of murder and corpse disposal. With Iwao's confession and information from acquaintances of the couple, The police gradually uncovered the story behind the family conflicts. According to reports, after graduating from a girls' school, Aiko moved to work at a healthcare company in Tsukuba, where she pursued her passion for the medical field. It was here that she met Iwao, a young, dynamic, and ambitious doctor. The two quickly developed feelings for each other and started dating, making Aiko feel that her life was entering a new chapter. As for Iwao Nomoto, he was born into an ordinary farming family. After graduating from high school, Iwao was determined to pursue his dream of becoming a doctor and enrolled in the Faculty of Medicine at Tsukuba University. Shortly thereafter, he was hired at the university hospital before transferring to work at a general hospital in Ibaraki Prefecture. With a stable job and a high income, Iwao quickly became a beloved doctor among his colleagues and patients. In fact, his brilliant career and good looks attracted the attention of many young women around him. Aiko once thought she had found true love when she started dating Iwao. However, as the relationship deepened, she suddenly discovered that Iwao had a girlfriend from before and that she was the third person in this relationship. This harsh truth left Aiko in a difficult position, but because she loved her boyfriend so much, she did not dare confront him or make a definitive decision. Seeing that Aiko showed no reaction to his relationships with other women, Iwao became increasingly irresponsible. While dating Aiko, he maintained relationships with many other women and treated it as something normal. A turning point occurred when Aiko unexpectedly became pregnant. Hoping to find empathy from Iwao, she decided to talk to him about it. However, Iwao's reaction completely devastated her. Not only was he not happy, but he also saw the pregnancy as a burden. Iwao bluntly suggested that Aiko have an abortion and stated that he did not want to take any responsibility for the child. Under Iwao's pressure, Aiko had no choice but to go to the hospital for an abortion, even though she did not want this to happen. However, not long after, Aiko became pregnant again, but this time she was determined not to follow Iwao's wishes. When Aiko expressed her desire to keep the child, Iwao initially did not object. During her pregnancy, Aiko's careful and devoted care made Iwao change his mind. He began to love the child and felt that it would be unfair for the child to grow up without a father. When the baby was born, Iwao unexpectedly proposed to his girlfriend. The proposal made Aiko burst into happiness. She believed that her love and patience had finally won Iwao over. After that, the two quickly registered for marriage, opening a new chapter filled with hope in Aiko's life. But just over a month later, Iwao began to regret his decision. When he was transferred to a new hospital, he contacted his former mistresses and began looking for new relationships. What was astonishing was that, even at the worst time, after having a family, Iwao still maintained romantic relationships with 10 women at the same time without feeling guilty. At this point, Aiko began to notice unusual signs from her husband. On several occasions, she expressed her wish that he cut ties with other women, and this issue even led to heated arguments. However, in response to her pleas, Iwao coldly said that he could not do that. Not long after, Aiko gave birth to another child, and for Iwao, everything seemed perfect. With a stable job, a family that many dreamed of, and his secret affairs, he was proud of enjoying the best parts of life. With an annual income of 13 million yen, Iwao decided to invest in real estate to increase his wealth. He bought 3 apartments in Kobe and Osaka, hoping to make a profit. But the real estate market began to decline. The value of the apartments dropped sharply, and Iwao quickly found himself in a losing situation. Instead of selling the apartments to cut his losses, he decided to borrow more money to maintain the properties. But before long, the Iwao family was sinking into debt. The extravagant spending on his extramarital relationships, which once brought joy to this man, had now become a massive burden. As the debts continued to rise, and the financial pressure grew heavier, Iwao felt that his life was on the brink of falling apart. Eventually, Iwao had to confess to his wife about their difficult financial situation and the huge debts weighing on them. In this difficult situation, Aiko not only did not blame him, but chose to stand by his side. She was willing to help him find ways to pay off the debts and save the family. In a clever way, Aiko asked IWAO if he was still in contact with his mistresses, but all she got in response was, "Now is not the time to talk about this, right?" Although the answer was vague, Aiko comforted herself that her husband had changed and was determined to start over. Determined to help her husband overcome the difficulties, Aiko found a job at a microbiology research institute. However, the salary from this job was insignificant compared to the enormous debt Iwao was facing. In a state of despair and frustration, Aiko decided to work at an entertainment bar. Here, she was required to wear sexy outfits to impress customers, which made Aiko feel embarrassed and stressed. But for the sake of her family and 2 young children, she reluctantly accepted the sacrifice to earn a higher income. In the following days, Aiko worked tirelessly day and night to earn money for the family while also caring for her 2 young children. Despite the exhausting and pressure-filled work, she still felt that all her efforts were worthwhile, because in Aiko's mind, both she and her husband were trying for their shared home. However, all of Aiko's hopes were quickly dashed when the truth was revealed. While Aiko believed that Iwao had changed and completely severed ties with other women, the reality was the opposite. Taking advantage of Aiko's busy work schedule, Iwao continued to rekindle relationships with his former mistresses. When Aiko discovered the truth, she fell into a state of despair. She could not accept that she had to work relentlessly day and night, juggling 2 jobs to earn money for the family and take care of the children. Yet her husband, instead of supporting the family, was spending money and time on his outside affairs. In a fit of anger, Aiko continuously criticized Iwao, hoping he would recognize his mistakes and change. But instead of admitting his wrongs, Iwao coldly responded with careless and irresponsible words. "Didn't you already know about this from the beginning? Didn't you accept it? Are you crazy?" These words not only disappointed Aiko, but also made her feel humiliated. Iwao's indifferent attitude not only failed to ease the situation, but also made the conflict between them more intense, pushing their relationship to the brink of collapse. After many endless arguments, Aiko decided that she would no longer use the money she had worked so hard to earn to pay Iwao's debts. Instead, she began to purchase luxury items to satisfy her own needs and spent money taking care of her children. In her helplessness and pain, Aiko turned to her friends to confide in them about her situation. Her friends advised her to stand up for her rights by using the law. They suggested that, if not for herself, she should do it for the future of her children, as they were still young and needed her care. After a long period of reflection, Aiko decided to regain her composure and filed for divorce from Iwao. In the divorce petition, she demanded alimony amounting to $5 million, including child support and the contributions she had made to the family over the years. Instead of agreeing, Iwao adamantly refused the divorce and bluntly declared that he would not pay any money as requested by her. Anticipating this reaction, Aiko had prepared thoroughly. She collected enough evidence of Iwao's ongoing extramarital affairs since their marriage. In a direct confrontation, Aiko boldly declared that if Iwao did not agree to the divorce and fulfill his financial obligations, she would publicly disclose all evidence of his infidelity. Aiko warned that this action would not only seriously damage Iwao's reputation, but could also ruin his current career, putting his work and personal life in jeopardy. Aiko's warnings caused Iwao to feel panic and extreme anger. In his mind, being threatened by his wife like this was unprecedented and deeply wounded his self-esteem, both in his career and personal life. This feeling of shame led Iwao into a negative psychological state. He began to blame Aiko, thinking she was the cause of all the problems he was facing. In his rage and despair, a malicious thought began to form in his mind: if she disappears, all of these problems will be solved. The idea of killing Aiko gradually became a concrete plan in Iwao's mind, marking a tragic turning point in their relationship. The next day, during a heated argument over alimony, Iwao's fury erupted, causing him to lose control. In a fit of rage, he mercilessly strangled Aiko with a rope. Although Aiko struggled to resist, the strength of a woman could not compete with that of an adult man. When Iwao realized that Aiko had stopped breathing, he coldly placed her body in a large plastic bag. Looking at his two young children, Iwao involuntarily thought about their future. He thought that if they survived, they would have to live with the stigma of being the children of a murderer. This warped thinking led Iwao to a cruel decision. He had to kill both of the children. After committing the horrific crime, Iwao casually continued his daily life as if nothing had happened. The very next day, he went to the red light district to unwind, then relaxed at a public bathhouse. After feeling more at ease, Iwao took the bag containing the bodies of Aiko and her children to the Keihin Canal and dumped them into the cold water to dispose of the evidence. To cover up his crime, Iwao continued to maintain a calm exterior, even meeting with his mistress and planning more lavish leisure activities. He even organized a trip to Hokkaido to create a psychological alibi that he was not involved in the incident. After returning from the trip, he nonchalantly reported to the police, pretending that his wife had mysteriously disappeared. But the horrific crime of Iwao was only exposed when the police began conducting an in-depth investigation. Iwao's fake tricks and clumsy acting were no match for the experienced investigators. After relentless investigation, the police gathered enough evidence to uncover the truth. Faced with undeniable evidence, IWAO was finally forced to admit his guilt. During the interrogation, the police handed him Aiko's diary. The pages of the diary revealed that Aiko had long known about Iwao's extramarital affairs with other women. Although deeply sad and disappointed, she still hoped that they could overcome the storms together and build a peaceful and happy life for the children. However, the continuous injuries and repeated betrayals eventually caused Aiko to no longer endure. In the end, she decided to divorce, hoping to find peace for herself and her children. In court, IWAO was sentenced to life imprisonment. The story of the evil wife that the public had once labeled Aiko was clarified through detailed reports after the trial. Aiko's diary cleared her name, showing that she was never a reckless spender or irresponsible, as was previously misunderstood. Instead, she was a devoted mother who always tried for her family until she could bear no more. When Iwao read the final entries in his wife's diary, he couldn't hold back his tears. He cried bitterly and admitted that he had never truly cared about Aiko's feelings or thoughts. He also realized that the thing she most wanted in life was a peaceful home, something he had ruthlessly destroyed. But when he regretted and wanted to atone, the wife who had endured all the suffering for him was no longer alive. That late regret would haunt him for the rest of his life in prison. Thank you for taking the time to follow this story. See you in the next video.